When it comes to exotic car ownership, it's easy to oversimplify. Some would say there are Ferrari guys and there are Lamborghini guys, but there are also Aston Martin guys. And whether your preferences lie with the prancing horse or the raging bull, or even those guys over in Stuttgart, you can be sure that when you scratch below the surface, everyone's an Aston Martin guy. Behold, Aston Martin's latest flagship, the DBS. Their designs have brought the company back from the brink of extinction to a flourishing company in the modern era, and it's not hard to see why with a car that looks this good. The DBS is more than just a pretty face. Up from the front to the back, the entire car has been designed and tested on the Nürburgring. Up front, you see this carbon fiber front splitter, which helps move air around the car to the back. And out back, you see this absolutely stunning and really aggressive carbon fiber diffuser that helps reduce lift under the car as opposed to adding a great big spoiler on the back. But there still is a spoiler, it's just designed into the boot lid. And in fact, that boot lid is made of carbon fiber, as is the whole hood. Let's drive. First thing you notice when you hop in the DBS is the clutch pedal. It's heavy. It's a real man's clutch pedal. That's fine. And you have to applaud a company like Aston Martin for building an exotic car like this that comes with an actual manual transmission. And speaking of manly, look at this shift knob. It is one giant piece of metal. It's one of those design details that sets a company like Aston Martin apart. And it fits nicely in your hand, and it makes shifting through the gears something a little extra special. The next thing you notice, and can't help but ignore, is the bark of that V12 engine when it roars to life. It actually over-revs just a little when you start the car up. The engine itself is a 6-liter, actually a 5.9-liter V12. And it goes. See, I've got the car set up in track mode, which actually reduces the traction control just a little bit and gives you an extra little bit of slip just for some fun. If you look behind us on a full acceleration, it's enough slip that actually leaves just a faint line of rubber all the way down the road, but still keeps you in full control of the car. You can also turn the traction control completely on or completely off, but considering how much trouble those rear Italian Pirellis have had keeping up with all this British horsepower, we'll leave it in track mode for now. Up front, we've got 6-piston calipers with 15.7-inch rotors, and in the rear, we've got 4-piston calipers with 14.2-inch rotors. Now that may not mean a lot to some people, and if it doesn't, that certainly will. The interior of the DBS is equally as stunning as the exterior. There's plenty of black leather and gobs of soft red Alcantara. There are other metal accent pieces that stand out against the glossy black center step. The steering wheel's a bit underwhelming, in terms of design anyway, as are the simple yet elegant gauges. And as for the seats, they are sporty and luxurious, and all that Alcantara really holds your butt in place in the corners. There's also plenty of carbon fiber inside the car. This is easily one of, if not the nicest interior offered in any production. When it comes to competitors for the DBS, the car really is in a class of its own. You could think in terms of horsepower and say, well, what about a Mercedes SL63? Sure, it's got 500-ish horsepower and a 6.2-liter V8, but that car really doesn't have the design of this one, exterior or interior. And when you come down to it, it's still just a Mercedes. You could also look at a Bentley Continental GT, but that car doesn't have near the handling dynamics of this car. Lastly, you'd say there's the Ferrari 599. And sure, it's a real competitor, but the 599 costs significantly more, even if it is a little bit more powerful. Well, that's our review of Aston Martin's glorious new flagship car, the DBS. But just because the review's over, doesn't mean the driving is.